Today Live, and we just listened to Kerry Healy with Accord in Asia. Whew.
Yeah, great job. By the way, you're the hardest working woman today in the hospitality industry. Deborah Gardner is
Today I am.
the interview suite, the co-host suite, the stuff in the communication suite with the team behind. By the way, congratulations to the team behind the scenes making this all happen today. Great work. But you are crushing on both sides, back and forth.
Oh,
wonderful
boy,
job.
I'm looking for that margarita later on today. That's for sure.
We are going to Mexico in our final destination,
Yes.
so it may be waiting for us there.
I hope so.
Kerry was
let's talk about her.
unbelievable. I mean, we've had so many different amazing ones, but right now I think she might be, for total substance, for challenge, for growth, mindset. I really loved her. She really sat on the idea of having a seat at the table, and this idea of learning to be a woman, a leader, and you need to get to see the table. She gave, raise your voice, no more imposter system. You got there, you own it. I thought it was great. Learn to show up. She was talking about learn to show up. And then she even touched on, and now that the world's changed, learn to keep the balance of life. Don't go back to the crazy, learn the balance. And she said that's all part of being at the seat of the table now as a woman global leader. I thought, wow, I can go home now. That was great.
Yeah, it seems like we've had a number of mothers on the show today, and they're not afraid to bring that even to the table and say, hey, look, I need the balance. I loved when she said, stop saying sorry. If she's got a kid's soccer game to be at and the phone rings, well, you know what? Sorry, it can't be that urgent. And she's not going to say she's sorry. And women do that all the time. We're always constantly saying, I'm sorry, like a broken record. It's crazy.
Well, and she's bringing that in from the leadership. Leaders don't need to apologize over and over again. They need to lead. So part of your leading is my family is important. It's a priority. I'm going to lead my family. I'm going to lead in the office. But she also wrapped it around without saying it, but she's talking about boundaries. She's talking about the boundaries. I'm going to kick it in the office and I'm going to kick it home. And one thing I think we've all learned through pandemic and the way we've worked remotely and done other things differently, I think we've learned there's a place to breathe and have a healthy boundary. I think she's pushing that. And she said her whole team is learning this now.
Well, that's what a leader does. You follow a good leader like her, you're going to learn a lot of things. And I know she's a big fan of Lean In, that wonderful, wonderful book. And I see where she has taken that and duplicated it into her leadership. And that right there tells me that's a woman that's constantly learning and constantly looking how she can not only better herself, but her team as well. And she's incredible. Again, she's overseeing 400 hotels and
on 4 continents.
Yeah. And she's knocking it out of the park. And I commend her because she's like, you know what? You need to develop your voice and you need to say something. That's the first thing you need to do. That's part of investing in yourself, as Olga mentioned in a previous interview. If we hold things in, it's only hurting ourselves. But we always want to be liked. That's the problem. We don't want to offend anybody or things like that.
And that's a big shift in leadership. It's not that you don't care what people think, but you have to be willing to own your part of it and say, here's what I believe, here's why I believe it. And I at least want to put it on the table. Again, you don't have to keep apologizing. You at least got to put it out there now and say, this is she talked about values. She talked about you need to have those values in place. Again, we heard that earlier today.
Right.
And she also said this very interesting. She did not call the pandemic. She called it a pause. And we are reevaluating and looking at everything so that it's a time of evaluation. And she put the word balance, evaluation and balance. So she's looking at this as a great strategy, game changer.
Yes.
And she also made it very clear, we probably have another 12 months of this. The way she's looking at her 4 continents, the different way that she leads. She said, we probably still have another 12 months of this, but it's a good pause for the betterment. That's a leadership mental shift. And if you can lead that down through all the way down the bottom to the top, your organization is better for it.
Yes. And as a matter of fact, I was just reading USA Today yesterday, and Elon Musk said the same thing. He said, your communication skills in leadership start from the top. And once it trickles down to the bottom, you've got everybody trained really well. So what she has done is she has taken what she calls the pause, and she identified it. That's the thing. She had identified it immediately and put those great strategies together to where they haven't felt the hit. She knew how to pivot. She knew how to adapt. She knew how to adjust. This woman is way before her time, because she's phenomenal in the fact that she can identify what needs to take place, and she takes action on it. Brilliant.
Well, and she threw in a radical concept. This was very risky for her to say, but we need to have compassion as leaders.
Right.
And we need to have more vulnerability as leaders. Now,
Right.
those, especially from the women that I know in women leadership, those can be like taken way advantage of. But she said these are not weaknesses, these are strengths, to have the compassion of a good leader and be more vulnerable as a leader so we can lead better. She's
Right.
not missing that at all. She hit that head on.
Right. I loved how she said that, because having compassion, being vulnerable makes you human, and people want to work with humans. And I loved that statement from her. And I know, we're going to have a follow-up article and some other press releases going out from the show. And these type of statements and comments from these type of women today is what other women need to hear as well. And that one really made sense to me. And is obviously to you as well. And I think, sometimes women look at things as going, well, I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to be compassionate. That's showing weakness.
Right.
And really, it's the opposite.
Well, and her presentation, her interview with you does not just sit on hospitality. It does not just sit on female leadership. Her conversation is leadership on any business level. She
Right.
could have walked into gas station leadership. She could have walked into sporting leadership. She could have been in the CEO executive office with Donald Trump or whoever. These things she talked about transcend hospitality. That's where she's a leader of leaders, and the hospitality industry gets a benefit from having her as a leader in hospitality.
Right. Now, Rich, last segment that we were together, I talked about how women judge other women the way they dress. And you can see Kerry is very confident with wearing a low-cut dress. She doesn't care.
I was thinking that. And again, as the guy in the room, really the guy in the room today, I can't say that, but thank you for bringing it up. No, she rocked it. It wasn't non-classy, but she was confident. And because of her thought leadership, because of the way she addressed issues, it didn't matter.
Yeah, did not matter.
She literally could have wore a black trash bag and said the same thing, and everyone had gone, those are great. She didn't wear the low cut, and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
She knows it. She owns it. And like you said, her other question was, why not you? And I think she leads that really well. Why not you? Why not own this? I'm feminine. I can rock it, and I can lead it. Why not you? Why can't you do that in your space? I think it's a great setup for modeling it and asking it.
Yeah. And she says it with such conviction. She says it with such confidence. She says it with, just who she is, and without trying to force her ability as a leader. I can totally see myself working for her. If I had an opportunity,
I would sign up.
Yeah. And she was talking about, actually, we both were talking about how, when you're going to look for a job, which a lot of women are doing right now, whether it's in the hospitality industry or not, you have to interview them just as much as they're interviewing you. You have to. And what she said is like, could you imagine working for somebody if you didn't want to work for them? I've been in that shoes before. It's a nightmare.
Well, and again, this transcends industry, Deborah. This is not just hospitality. That advice is good advice for everybody. I heard that long ago from someone else, and I'm thinking like, you're right. I should be studying them, asking questions, find out what their values, what their core beliefs, how does boundaries work, how does family fit in, We're never taught that, but she's
Yeah.
putting that out there now to say, make sure you interview them before you sign on with them. Great leadership strategy.
Yeah, yeah, I really enjoyed her. She definitely got up early for us to be with us, but I totally can see her continuing to move up. I'm sure she'll be overseeing a lot more hotels and a lot more countries because she's on the move.
I
And
expect her to move out of it into something.
bigger.
Hospitality is not big. Be very careful, Rich. But I think she has true leadership, global impact leadership beyond the hospitality. And
Yeah,
she
yeah,
even says, this is new opportunities. There are new career opportunities emerging in here. I think she may find herself a new career opportunity as she continues to be a catalyst and a voice for women leadership and good leadership.
right. So she was a lot of fun. So I again, so impressed with her quick perception on the questions that I asked and her ability to execute and share quick solutions with a deep understanding of where she's coming from. And I think that is what made me really appreciate having her on the show.
There was one other thing. It was really early on, and you were just going through the background history profile. And I wonder how much this plays into that confidence of a global leader that she is on 4 continents. She moved around a lot. She wasn't really indigenous to one place forever. And then she even said, but I have lived in Australia. You probably hear the Australian accent, but she's been sprinkled all over the place.
She has.
I wonder how much that helps to know that she can play on the global stage because she's been on the global stage all of her life.
Yeah, could be. Absolutely. It certainly can be. But I just love the way she comes across as just so confident pertaining to it. She's one of, it's like watching an athlete, which you and I have watched plenty of them in our time. It's like watching an athlete. It's like, oh, I can do that. Well, we really got to realize they make that look easy. And Kerry's that person. She makes it look easy. I'm sure it's not, especially as a mom, but
that's why she stressed the boundaries. I think the way you make it easy is she put the boundaries in there. And the only way to live it, and we said this during the setup, during the early discussion, she's got time zones. The only way to do that is boundaries and healthy boundaries. She can't take all the calls all the time. So she has set up the mechanisms and boundaries, and she now can stand in that so confidently and lead well. Again, total rock star.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked her. And I know a lot of our viewers really are going to enjoy her too. And I can watch actually all of these episodes over and over, which I know everybody's going to have the opportunity to do so because these are being recorded. So the replays will be available, and you are more than welcome to find those on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and take advantage of that. Watch these over and over, learn from these ladies, and share them out into your office, share them with other people, because we really want people to understand that this is just the beginning of International Hospitality Women's Day, and we need to get that support on, like you said, give it some gas and move it forward, so that we can really be on top of this. Not, sometimes I hesitate when we have to celebrate just one day. Why can't it be International Hospitality Day every day? And I think one of our guests today even, referred to it, and it made me click going, yeah, why is it just one day? We should be on top of this every single day. And who knows, we might even get there, Rich.
Well, and I think that's where the idea of what you do, the shows you interview, the way this scales and grows out, the media coverage we've gotten going into this now has really amplified this message and what's going on. So don't slow down as we've heard throughout the day. Let's keep going forward. So I think there'll be more sprinkling of this. There will be more growth of this. And we're going to find other amazing women. Again, I keep wondering what continents, what's the nations are going to beam into next year at this time. Because people are going to be asking. They're going to be reaching out to Deborah and say, I want in, Deborah. That was way too cool.
We're getting those calls already. It's been amazing how people want to start looking at next year. And it's like, wait, hold your horses. We got to tackle these issues now as well. And I appreciate everybody's support and and interest. And I'm just hoping everyone will just take it and run with it and get it out there and just enjoy the ride and make it your own as well. So, and a lot of hotels have done that.
One of the ways is on the replays, you can still type in the chats. You can still type in your comments, ask questions of us, build the conversation now, even on replay. For those of you who did not catch the early ones when we were early in Canada and early in Australia, when you see the replays, you can still chime in and add to the voice and add to this and share them so it does begin to expand. Again, the whole theme of today is being a leader. Part of the leadership now is take this content, thread it out, share it out, and be the leader to help grow this movement. Don't just have it be on Deborah or Rich or whoever else she has on the team doing this.
Right. And one thing I loved just to close out with Kerry is what you said earlier. I believe she's an experimental leader. I think she's that type, 100% full blown. And she's a very good example of exactly what you were saying, experimental leadership. So that was really, really fun. And now, you're going to tell us where we're going next?
All right. We have our final destination in our travel log here today, and we're going to go to one of my favorite places. Childhood memories, great adventure. I want to go back again. And we are going to go to Mexico today. I have been to this pyramid.
Oh,
yes.
Cool.
I have gone up those steps, climbed all the way to the top. That's in Chichen Itza. And it's like stepping back into time when you go down and you go to the pyramids, the ancient wells and the architecture of the ancient days. And it is spectacular. We actually had a native. We hired a native to guide us. And when the natives lead you, they actually have permission to go places that the standard traditional places can't. And you talk about hospitality. You talk about the tourism, the industry. These people know their stuff. They know the history. They know the lore. They know the storytelling. And it's amazing how they lavish on you and make you feel special as you are truly immersed in a true experience. I love the Mexican experience. And I'm sure we've got Ana coming on up. And I'm sure we're going to have another great conversation with that.
Yeah, Ana Hernandez. She's the vice president and managing director for BCD Meetings and Events. And she's been in the industry for about 2 decades, another mom, which we'll talk about. And she's won multiple awards. It would take us an hour to go through. But I had a wonderful conversation with her when we were setting this whole thing up. And I'm really looking forward to her sharing the challenges that are going on in Mexico and Latin America. And she not only holds a lot of roles in many, many different organizations in Mexico, but she is motivated. She's completely motivated, most influential leader in Mexico. She's got her game on. And she's based in Mexico City with her husband and her 2 kids. And she talks about all kinds of messages, but one message that really resonated with her is about safety. And that's good to hear. That's really good to hear because that is in the DNA of our industry right now. It used to be technology, but safety and security, it's all about that. So let's listen to a couple things that she has to say, and we'll come back and recap what Ana has shared with us. And we'll also close out today together, which I cannot believe. Can you believe this already?
No.
I mean,
I can't. This has been too much fun. And again, we've got a lot of travel log in. We have a lot of miles.
Yep. And I'm ready to go to more countries real soon too. So this has been a lot of fun. All right. So everyone, listen up and enjoy. And I tell you what, you're ready to meet a fantastic woman and businesswoman and mom all in one. So we're going with the country of Mexico with Ana Hernandez. Stay tuned.
Here we go.